In 1994, when I formed the Iowa Class Preservation Association, the first thing I did was get a map of the United States, and I plotted with circles every museum ship that had been donated by the Navy since the 50s. And it was real clear to see that the East Coast was loaded with naval museum ships, and the West Coast only had a few little tiny ones at that time. And when I did an analysis of the 4 Iowa-class battleships, where they would probably end up, I was correct of most of them. The New Jersey and the Missouri was in decommissioned and in storage up in Bremerton, Washington State on the West Coast. And the Wisconsin and the Iowa was in Philadelphia Navy Yard at that time on the East Coast. It was pretty clear early on that the Wisconsin was going to get into Norfolk, and they actually set her up right next to the Nauticus Museum downtown Norfolk. The New Jersey, which was in Washington State, we were sure that she was going to go to her home state, New Jersey, which she did. The Missouri, where the end of World War II assigned on her decks, it seemed likely that she was going to go to Pearl Harbor, and that happened. The only one that we were unsure of was the USS Iowa, and she was on the East Coast. With as many museum ships up and down the East Coast already, it was oversaturated for a large ship. We thought likely she was going to get scrapped. Her only salvation probably was to come to the West Coast. But to go through the Panama Canals, it was like a $4 million tow. It's hard enough getting money just to get the ship towed from wherever she's at, close to a proximity of her final permanent berth site. But to add another $4 million to a project for a nonprofit was probably not going to happen. But if there was any battleship, it was the Iowa that we thought could make it to the West Coast.